I rise today, as I have in years past, to encourage my colleagues to vote against this ungodly legislation in order to protect the sanctity and dignity of human life. There is no more debate over life in the womb. As technology has advanced, it is impossible for those who support the taking of innocent lives to feign ignorance about the human life in the womb. No longer can they claim the life is just a random collection of cells. With the new 3D and 4D ultrasounds, it becomes a self-evident truth that this is a human being. Under the light of the ultrasound, the truth is revealed. This is life. This is why I sponsor legislation each year that would require an ultrasound be done before an abortion can take place. Every piece of information should be made available to the women making these decisions. They should see the human life that hangs in the balance of their decision. Studies have shown 70% of mothers who see the ultrasound choose to keep the baby. Did you know that 80% of fathers, when they see the ultrasound, want to keep the baby? That's right, a baby. Do you know the legal definition of death is when the heart stops beating? Wouldn't it be common sense then that life begins when the heart's beating? There is no common sense in this law. To me, it's just murder. Instead of empowering women for all the resources necessary to make a decision, the pro-abortion crowd seeks the comfort of the dark shadows, like rats scurrying to holes in the wall when the light of truth shines on them. It's easier to mock my legislation to save lives than it is to change the culture of death that surrounds the abortion industry. I'm tough enough to handle it, for what I go through is nothing compared to being chopped up and dismembered by forceps, and then pieces of eyes, fingers...
Mr. Blake, why do you rise?
Will my colleague yield for just a question?
Not at this time, sir. I will after.
Not at this time, sir.
And then the pieces of eyes, fingers, legs, mouths, heads, toes, and all other body parts vacuumed up and out into the garbage. For something to be a choice, there have to be multiple options present, and the person making the decision should have all available information. This shouldn't be a controversial opinion or a controversial bill, but the pro-death crowd and members of this assembly refuse to allow women any help. They refuse to allow women a choice to see a sonogram. They refuse to allow women a choice to seek counseling. In matters of life and death, which this is, all information should be considered before a decision is rendered. Make no mistake, this is a decision between life and death. This is a choice between killing and living. The only way a procedure as brutal and disfiguring as abortion can continue to exist is through the ignorance of those involved. Cold, calculated medical terms have fostered an environment that endangers human life. To this day, a human being in the womb has never transformed into something else. It doesn't become a turtle. It doesn't become a plant. When you terminate a pregnancy, you ended a human life. As other states are moving to protect life, New York doubles down on ending it. Excuse me, sir. If we were to find the smallest cell on Mars with living material, it would be celebrated and preserved. But when it comes to here on Earth, we debate how late, up to when the baby is being pulled out of the womb, is it acceptable to murder a human life. We will no longer mince words, and I will not either. The ending of a human life is murder. Back in the day, King Ahaz sacrificed his sons and other children by throwing them into the fire as worship to pagan gods. Even today, the process hasn't abated. The sacrifice of children to the harsh gods of convenience, economy, and whim continues in sterile medical facilities in numbers that would astound the wicked King Ahaz. It is written very clearly, truly children are a gift. They are from the womb, and it is a reward. Let's talk about the baby. The bond between the mother and her baby is truly remarkable. While in the womb, Babies in the womb, babies begin learning language from their mothers. They also learn to recognize different words in the womb. After birth, they will still remember some of these words that they learned in the womb. Even being able to distinguish between their mother tongue and other languages. Fetuses may also respond to their mother's touch by displaying more movements as a way of communication. Did you know when the mother's heart is injured, stem cells from the fetus migrate to the injured site and repair the damage? Male babies leave traces of their DNA on the mother's brain, which protects the mother from Alzheimer's disease. It doesn't end here. Antibodies travel from the mother to her baby through the placenta. Breastfeeding boosts the baby's immune system before and after birth and protects the baby from deadly bacteria and viruses. And did you know after the baby is born, breast milk is customized according to the sex of the baby? Mothers produce different biological recipes for sons and daughters. In just 25 days of pregnancy, the heart chamber develops. In 32 days, arms and hands begin developing. 36 days begin the vertebrae's development. The first 5 weeks are the most rapid in this child's life in the womb, in the first 5 weeks. At 6 weeks, brain waves are detectable. At 45 days, the heart is beating twice as fast as the mother's. Yes, that's a human heart, which means it's alive and well. At 7 weeks, eyelids and toes are forming, the nose is distinct, the baby is kicking and swimming. That is just the first 49 days. You can still receive an abortion for another 127 days. You want to tell me that's not life? Let me repeat. For 4 more months of growth, you can still receive an abortion. At week 8, every organ is in place. Bones begin to replace cartilage, and fingerprints form. Week 11, all organs are functioning, and the baby can grasp objects placed in its hand in the womb. At week 12, the baby has all the body parts capable of feeling pain. Nerves, spinal cord, thalamus, the vocal cords are complete, and the baby in the womb can suck its thumb. By the end of the 4th month, this unmistakably human life is 8 to 10 inches in length. The heart is pumping 25 quarts of blood a day and will weigh over half a pound. At week 18, the baby will begin to hear. At week 19, the baby can routinely be saved. Week 19, let's repeat that, the baby can routinely be saved. Doesn't need an abortion. At 20 weeks, this child feels pain, which we have just found out through science, and he feels every agonizing part of the inhumane abortion process. I have submitted a bill that all abortions must stop at 20 weeks, the pain bill. Where is it? My bill will never see the light of day here in New York, the abortion murder capital of the world. At 21 weeks, the baby can swallow. At week 23, the baby will develop taste buds, and at week 24, real hair. All of this development occurs during the period where abortion is still an option. How is this fair to life? During months 7 through 9, the baby is using 4 of their 5 senses: vision, hearing, taste, and touch. They know the difference between waking and sleeping, can relate to the mother's mood, and the heart is pumping 300 quarts of blood a day. Our innate human instinct of self-preservation does not begin outside the womb. During these horrific procedures, we know now, because of technology, the baby will actually turn away from the medical instruments. They try to save themselves from being ripped apart. They try to save themselves from being vacuumed up like common trash and debris. They want to live, and yet they've been sent to death. In 2008, Kathleen Sebelius, the governor of Kansas, a Catholic, was creating scandal by openly supporting unrestricted access to abortion. After 3 years of attempting to have a dialogue with her, she was publicly asked by Joseph Naumann, the Archbishop of Kansas City, Kansas, to refrain from receiving Holy Communion. Later that year, all 4 Kansas bishops joined Archbishop Naumann and issued a joint statement saying Catholics voting for candidates with pro-abortion position should cease calling themselves Catholic, as they are not following the Church's pro-life position and teaching. The results of this statement were strong and lasting. From 2010 on, Kansas went from 50-50 pro-life, pro-abortion state to solidly pro-life. Since Kansas is not heavily Catholic, it appears the bishop's statement obviously had a significant impact throughout Kansas and touched all faiths and citizens. I have reached out to Cardinal Dolan, the Bishop of Albany, and the Bishop of Buffalo, asking them to lead this charge in the abortion capital of the world, New York. My pleas have fallen on deaf ears. National Right to Life estimates the number of human lives ended by abortion to be more than 58 million since the Roe v. Wade decision, an unfathomable number of human lives. Instead of ending this infanticide, we focus our life-saving efforts on stripping Americans of our Second Amendment rights. Would save more human lives by employing an ultrasound than we would with any safe storage bill. Jeremiah 1:5 says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, you were set apart." I know most of you are not of faith. I know some of you follow other gods and religions. But for those who are curious, there is a passage in the Bible which sticks out in my mind. It uses the word woe, a very strong and powerful word, a very bad word used by God. It says, "If anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. Woe to the world because of the things that cause people to stumble. Such things must come, but woe to the person through whom they come." I repeat, woe to the person to whom they come. We cannot and must not allow for this infanticide to continue. Every child deserves a chance at life, a chance to improve their well-being, a chance to be a part of our world. Let's come together and end this injustice. I will be voting in the negative, and Mr. Speaker, I encourage all of my friends here to do the same. Thank you.